Hey everybody, Phil Scott here and welcome back to the Everyday Wallet. In today's video, we're going to be talking about whether you should buy or rent your own home. For me, I have a mortgage and my monthly payment is $850 a month. It's for a 3-bedroom house with 2 bathrooms on a half acre in a private subdivision. It's a pretty good deal and there is no way that I could rent a place as nice as where I live for what I'm paying monthly. So go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll go ahead and get started. Before we get into the video, I want to share with you 2 free stocks. In the description below, there's a link to Webull. Click that link, open up an account, and you'll get 1 free stock. Then when you deposit $100 into your account in the first 30 days of opening that account, you will get another free stock from Webull. So go ahead and check that out to get 2 free stocks. If you're watching this video, you may have asked yourself, should I rent or should I buy? A lot of us ask that question. We may look at renting an apartment or a house as throwing our money away. We may look at buying a house as a way to save our money, to invest our money for the future. But there's a whole lot more to consider than just looking at monthly payments and who is getting those payments. I found an article that said that buying a house is the #1 worst financial decision that anybody can make. That's a pretty bold claim. The article went on to say that when you buy a house, you get a 0% return on investment, sometimes even a negative return on investment. And the article then went on to say that you'd be better off just putting your money into a savings account with a very low interest rate than actually buying a house. So I started doing some math, and I would encourage you to do your own math as well when deciding whether or not you should buy or rent. I like to use hypotheticals. So for today's video, we're going to use a hypothetical that you're going to be looking for a 3-bedroom apartment or house. Where I live, a 3-bedroom apartment can rent from about $1,500 to $2,300 a month, depending on the different amenities that the apartment complex may offer, some of the different sizes, and some of the different features within the apartment. So anywhere from $1,500 to $2,300 is going to be our budget range for this video. There's a lot of benefits to renting. Number 1, if something breaks, you call property management to fix it. They come, they fix it, you don't have to pay for it. A lot of times, especially if you live in an apartment complex, you're not responsible for lawn care. Now, if you're renting a house, you may have to mow the lawn, but you're not going to have to worry about the landscaping and some of the more finer details of lawn maintenance and lawn care. Number 3, when you decide that you want to move, you just pack up and you move. You don't have to worry about renting out that place to another tenant or selling that property to another owner. You just pack up, move when your lease is done. Another benefit of renting is you will have access to the amenities for that local community, not only the surrounding area, but also within that subdivision or that apartment complex. So if the apartment complex has a pool, you'll have access to the pool. If they have tennis courts, you'll have access to that. And another pro is that when you move out, as long as you took care of the property that you're renting, you'll get your security deposit back. We talked about the pros of renting, now we're going to talk about the cons of renting. Number 1, if you do damage to the property, you're responsible for covering the cost for that damage. If you have a pet, sometimes you have to do a security deposit, a pet security deposit for having a pet at that property. And a lot of times, pet security deposits are non-refundable. If you do actually get your security deposit back when you move out, you get back only what you gave. You don't get back more. So there's no interest on that security deposit. Number 4, con to renting is that oftentimes when you renew your lease year after year, your rent rate goes up. This is especially true in apartment complexes. Number 5, you're still paying for housing. Whether you rent or you own, you still have to pay your monthly housing bill. Number 6, and this is something that a lot of folks overlook, is you have to get renter's insurance separate from your monthly rental bill. We just looked at renting a 3-bedroom apartment. Now let's consider buying a 3-bedroom house in the subdivision where I live. Currently, as of making this video, there are houses for sale for $195,000 to $325,000. Let's buy a house right in the middle, $270,000. We're going to put 3.5% down, and our monthly payments are going to be roughly $1,400. That property owners association dues come out to just under $100 a month. Let's round it up to $100 a month. So there you go, $1,500 a month for a 3-bedroom house on a ½ acre of land is going to be the same monthly cost as the low end of renting. So let's look at these pros. Pro number 1 of owning your own house: you have complete control of the property. You're the one that gets to make the decisions about the upgrades, the updates, and the maintenance of that property. Number 2, you lock in your monthly payment for 30 years if you go with a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Number 3, and this one's huge for me, when you own your own house, you don't have to worry about neighbors above you or below you making too much noise. You get your own private space. Number 4, and this one's important for me as well, is you have your own yard that you can use for gatherings. You can have friends and family over, you can have parties, you can cook out. And again, we're trying to compare like things as much as possible. A 3-bedroom house in an apartment complex with amenities. In this subdivision, we have amenities as well. We have a pool, basketball courts, tennis courts, playgrounds, baseball fields, beaches, lakes. We have a lot of things to offer, a lot of amenities that are included in that $1,500 a month. The last one I consider a pro, and it's also kind of a con, is that when you move out, you get to decide what you do with that property. If you want to rent it out and generate a positive cash flow income, you can do that. If you want to sell it, you can do that as well. And we'll talk more about the selling process later. Now let's talk about the cons of buying a house. As I mentioned, in my neighborhood where I live, there's a property owners association. We have annual property owners association fees that equal about $900 a year. That's a little less than $100 a month, but for sake of easy math, we round it up to $100 a month. That also covers maybe some other small incidentals, such as a light fixture or gas for a lawnmower, things of that nature. Another con of owning a house or buying a house is that you are responsible for the maintenance of that property. If the hot water heater breaks, you're responsible for fixing the hot water heater. If the roof leaks, you're responsible for fixing the roof. Also, if a light fixture breaks, you get the pleasure of replacing that light fixture. You're also responsible for lawn care. And when it's time to move, you need to find somebody to either rent your house or buy the house from you. Generally, you will use a realtor if you're selling it, or a property management company if you're trying to rent it. And again, you're still responsible for paying for your housing. That bill is not going away. Now let's do a quick recap of the financials between renting and buying. When you rent, you have your monthly rental payment that starts off at $1,500 a month, and over time, it's going to incrementally go up when you renew your lease. When you buy a house, you start off with that $1,500 a month for your mortgage and your property owner association fees, and your mortgage will not go up if you have a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. It's going to be the same today in 10 years and 20 years and 30 years at your very last payment. You're going to have that same monthly payment. Hopefully your income goes up between now and then. Now let's compare the security deposits and the down payments. When you rent, you provide a security deposit. The rental company holds on to that security deposit until you move out, and as long as you have not made any significant damages to that property, you get that back with 0 interest. A 0% rate of return on your security deposit for renting. When you buy a house, you have to make a down payment. In our example, we put about 3.5% down, or a $9,000 down payment on the house. After living there for several years, depending on what the market does, you should get back more than that $9,000. You're going to get a rate of return greater than what you would have gotten for that security deposit on renting a property. When you rent and you move out, you're done with that property. When you rent or when you buy and you move out, you can rent it and create positive cash flow. When you break it down like that, I will always prefer to buy. Even if the rate of return on my security deposit or my down payment is minimal, all the added benefits of owning a home to me outweigh the benefits of renting. Owning that house will not make you rich. It's not a get rich quick plan. It's not even a get rich over time plan. Let's go back to our scenario. We got an apartment between $1,500 and $2,300 a month, right at $900. Or we get that house in the middle range of what the house are selling for, and our mortgage is $1,500. We're paying $1,500 a month. We're saving $400, and instead of just dropping that into a savings account or into the property through rent, we decide to invest it in a platform like Acorns, where we have different ETFs and it's going to invest it for us so we can get a better rate of return on that $400 a month. If something happens to the property, we can draw from that and pay for the repairs on the property. And we were setting money aside every single month to take care of that. After 10 months, you've got $4,000. My monthly mortgage is $850 a month. We bought our house for $138,000. It's a really nice house. I think so. I like it. What I could have been doing all along, which I haven't been because money's tight when you're a single income family, is taking the difference for what we pay monthly for our mortgage and what we would have been paying for even a low-end 3-bedroom apartment at $1,500 and putting that into a savings account. We put less than $8,000 down on the property, and that included closing costs. When we bought our property, there was a tax credit of $8,000. So right there, we broke even with our investment on the property. Now, if we were to sell today, we would get roughly $125,000 back. Now, you might be doing the math on, well, how long have you been living there? How much have you paid down on the mortgage? Your monthly payments may have equaled an X amount. No, you can't do that because you would have been paying monthly payments to rent a place the entire time. The monthly payments have to be taken out of the equation completely when you're comparing these two different options. You need to look at your security deposit or your down payment and what you get when you move out. So when we bought our house, it was less than $8,000 down, including closing costs. We got an $8,000 tax credit. That was a wash for that. Now, if we sell anything that we get from that sale is pure profit. That's a really great rate of return. Again, it depends on how you look at it. If you're renting a place, you're going to be paying a monthly payment no matter what. If you're buying a place, you're paying that monthly payment no matter what. Those are a wash. It's the things outside of that you need to compare. When you rent, your security deposit, nothing back in return, except maybe what you put in. When you sell, you should, is depending on how long you live there and the way the market goes, and it fluctuates. I do get that, but you should get back at least 1% rate of return on your investment. And again, I'm looking at the investment is the down payment, not your monthly payments. Now, another very important thing to consider whether to rent or to buy is to consider where you're at in life. If you're young and single, it might make a whole lot more sense to you to rent a room from somebody and pay a few $100s a month and save a large chunk of change every month than to actually rent your own place or buy your own place. Like I said, there's a whole lot more to consider. I'm trying to break this down just to the finances of whether to rent or buy your own place. If you're a young married couple, maybe you could split a house with another young married couple. Again, you need to figure out the options that are available to you and find out what makes the most financial sense for you on a monthly basis and a long-term basis. Go ahead and comment below with your thoughts about renting and buying a house, which you think is better. Here's a question to throw out there. Should you pay your mortgage off sooner so you don't have a monthly payment, or should you just stick with that 30-year payment, pay your interest rate, especially with interest rates as low as they are right now, and take any additional money and instead of paying down that mortgage, invest it? What are your thoughts on that? Go ahead and comment below. I also mentioned earlier that Acorns platform for micro investing. See the description of the video below for a link to open up your account with Acorns and get a free $5. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. And until then, keep on saving to grow your everyday wallet just a little fatter.